It's a matchup that echoes back to a magical moment in Angels history.
Fly ball center field. Erstad says he's got it. Erstad makes the catch. The Anaheim Angels are the champions of baseball.
The Angels celebrated then, but the Giants have won it all 3 times since. Now led by 2 of the best and most recognizable players in the game in Mike Trout and Buster Posey, the Angels and Giants face off once again. Posey has what Trout wants. The Giants have what the Angels crave. It's SoCal versus NorCal.
Gorgeous night in San Francisco. The road trip continues here in the Bay Area. The Halos took 2 of 3 from the Oakland Athletics, and tonight we start the matchup. It's the first of 3 against the San Francisco Giants. Hi, everybody, from inside AT Park. We welcome you back to Angels Baseball here on Fox Sports West, along with Mark Gubiza. I'm Victor Rojas, and as that voice from above just mentioned, there are 2 big stars here tonight. Buster Posey for the San Francisco Giants, and, of course, the reigning American League MVP, Mike Trout, for the Angels.
Yeah, Victor, it's always fun when these 2 teams get together, but 2 of the most special players in all of baseball. And take a look at our AT&T Uverse Rewind. We're going to show you why they are so special. Mike Trout in the series against the Oakland A's. Just a couple nights ago, gets a fastball over the plate, squares it up, hit that ball 454-foot shot. The left field bench had a double, but also wins the game, preserves the game with an outstanding over-the-shoulder play a la Willie Mays. Speaking of the Giants, made a great play to be able to preserve that tough one yesterday, 6-5. Buster Posey, MVP back in 2012 in the National League, drives the ball to all fields. The leader of this ball club, quiet leader. The guy can drive the ball left center, right center. A lot of power playing first base here today. Always a very solid defender behind the plate. But it's a lot of fun. These guys enjoy the game, play the game the right way, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see these 2 compete against each other.
Always a lot of fun. And when it comes to interleague play, we're going to step away for a moment. When we return here to San Francisco, we'll talk about tonight's pitching matchup. Matchup for Game 1, C.J. Wilson dealing with the elbow issue that apparently is going to continue to bother him throughout the season, going up against Chris Heston.
Yeah, he's been throwing the ball well, even though he might have that elbow issue. A lot of two-seam fastballs last time out for C.J. Numbers very solid. 9 and 7 in his career in interlake play, working that fastball down, that cutter in. Now, Chris Heston's a guy that's, relatively unknown as far as going out and attacking. Very good sinking fastball, sinker, slider, curve, changeup guy. Throws a lot of strikes, fields his position well. It's going to be a battle to get some baseballs in the air to hit one out against him.
Almost like a couple of nights ago when the Angels offense faced Jesse Hahn. Had never seen him before. We'll see what the Angels offense has in store tonight. They did rack out 12 hits yesterday in their win against the Oakland Athletics. We're going to step away once again when we return. Mark Gubiza gets a chance to catch up with some of the Angels players. Big sports weekend, the Kentucky Derby, and of course the big fight in Las Vegas tomorrow. So we sent Gooby out on a mission to get some answers from Angels players.
Pacquiao or Mayweather?
I can't wait for this. It might be a few years too late, but I'll go Floyd. I might want Pacquiao to win, but I think Floyd will win in decision.
Pacquiao, because I love the way he attacks, and he's all about the fight, and he's not kind of running around the whole ring. But I love the way he attacks, and he go get her.
I'm pulling for Mayweather.
Okay, Pacquiao, Mayweather.
Oh, Pacquiao, man. No, Mayweather don't have any chance.
I'm a little Pacquiao.
No.
Not as if Eric Ibar felt any peer pressure to go with Pacquiao there with Albert standing right behind him. But who you got in the fight?
I'm going Pacquiao too, but Trout was screaming at those two because he wants Mayweather. Trout is a big Mayweather fan.
Nice
I'll go
job, by
Pacquiao,
the way.
Thanks.
We're just about ready for baseball here in the Bay Area. Sit back and relax. Lineups and first pitch when we return. Here. And by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. Gorgeous shot of San Francisco. The Bay Area. Halos taking 2 of 3 from the Oakland Athletics. Finishing off the series victory yesterday. Now interleague play for the first time this year for the Angels, taking on the San Francisco Giants. Of course, the team that they beat in 2002 to win the World Championship. Completely different team.
Yeah.
Completely different manager.
It's a lot of fun, though, when you think about it.
As we pointed out, that has won 3 World Series titles in the last 5 seasons. Had a great conversation with the legendary voice, John Miller, the Hall of Famer, talking about those 3 World Championships. And, you know, a couple of those things, they just tend to happen. Just kind of like the Royals rolled into the playoffs last year and got to the World Series. The Giants have found some sort of magic, especially in this ballpark. Unfortunately, this year hasn't played out that well. But it's a pretty interesting story when you consider the way the game is played today. Dynasties don't usually exist any longer. No. They've been able to do it.
They just have a great bunch of guys. And even when you have the conversation, I talk with a bunch of guys today. They feel as long as they get to the playoffs, whether it's winning the division or getting there as a wild card team, this team has always been built to play well in the postseason more so than the regular season. They're very good in the postseason.
Well, Mike Scioscia is getting the ground rules behind home plate or right around home plate. The Giants have taken the field and they're getting ready to start the warm-up pitches. So we'll check out Scioscia's starting lineup for the Angels. The win yesterday, an even 500 for the month of April, 11-11. It's Eric Ibar leading things off tonight. He's in short. Johnny Givitello at second. Mike Trout at center. Cole Calhoun at right. David Freese, the third baseman. CJ Crone. Chris's dad's watching. I'm sure he loves that. Matt Joyce, because I just finished telling the guys next door it's Chris Crone's son. Matt Joyce at left field. Chris Seideto behind the plate. Of course, in the National League, the pitcher bats, and C.J. Wilson batting ninth. And he will be on the mound taking on the 27-year-old right-hander, native of Palm Bay, Florida. His name is Chris Heston.
And he's really throwing the ball well. Really, they needed him to come up in this situation, especially because a couple of their veteran starters have been hurt. Heston's fastball is 87-92, occasionally 94 on a 4-seam fastball, but he sinks the fastball well. Slider, curve, very good changeup, does everything well, throws a lot of strikes, and keeps the ball in the ballpark.
Check out the Giants defensively behind Heston. Aoki, Pagan, and Maxwell in the outfield. They are obviously still missing Hunter Pence, although he did take batting practice today. Should start a rehab soon. McGee, Crawford, Duffy, and Posey around the infield from third to first, and Suzak behind the plate.
Yeah, Buster Posey getting that start at first. 16 starts in 2013, 30 last year, already 8. It's a good opportunity to get him off his feet as far as that catching position, demanding, considering how important his bat is to the lineup to get him at first base.
Yeah, I think that's what it all boils down to. Saw Craig Biggio in his career eventually move away from catching. Joe Mauer, we've seen him play more first base and DH. Now Posey getting some opportunities, although still very good defensive catcher as well. As Eric Ibar's ready to lead things off.
Big thing to look for against Hester, too, is that lefty success. They'll be able to have the left-handed batters hitting .311 this year against Hester.
First one tonight is up and away for ball one. Eric hitting .222 with a couple of doubles, 8 runs batted in. Had a multi-hit game yesterday, going 2 for 5. He skies this one on the third base side. Crawford cutting across the shortstop into foul territory to make the catch, and there's the first down of the ballgame.
And my Hyundai key for this game, it'll carry Underwood. Something in the water. Anytime you see that porch out there in right field, think of McCovey Cove, hit one out there in the water. At some point, I talked about how left-handed batters, .311 against Heston this year, also has given up 2 home runs, both to left-handed batters.
There's that McCovey Cove of which you speak, sir.
Thank you. We walked by that coming in today.
Yes, we did. Crossing the bridge on 3rd Street. Givitello looks at his drive. This ballpark opened up April 11th, 2000. It's a gorgeous facility. Givitello at second base. .317, 3 doubles, a home run, 10 runs batted in. 1 for 3 game yesterday. So we'll look at his shot. It's quickly 0-2.
And right-handed batters only hit .218 versus Heston.
First 7 in the lineup, identical to that of yesterday's lineup for Mike Scioscia with no Albert Pujols. That's a called strike 3. Down goes Giavatello, 2 outs.
A good two-seam fastball. See that movement, starts off the outside corner, catches lower part of the strike zone.
Very Jake Peavy-like with that short arm.
Yeah, that's how he's be able to create that good sink action. And if you're a hitter, you have never seen him before, maybe in the spring training game, he's going to have to see some pitches.
Breaking ball, first pitch to Trout, misses inside. Mike hitting .329, 5 home runs, 14 runs batted in. On base 4 times yesterday with 2 walks, a double and a single. It's off the plate for ball 2.
So far this year on 1-0 counts or 2-0 counts, hitters are combined 7 for 10 against Heston coming into this game.
And that is ripped to the alley in left center field. That will split the outfielders and go to the wall. Trout on his way to second, and he will stop right there with a 2-out double. 6th of the year for Mike.
Again, that great sound off the bat for Trout. Continues to swing the bat extremely well on this road trip. Behind the count, had to challenge him with a fastball. That two-seamer ran in middle in, and it got crushed by Trout.
Looked like he had some traction problem around first. You see the infield, it is very, very wet here to start the game. As Cole Calhoun settles into the batter's box. 2 outs on the man in scoring position, and Cole takes outside for ball 1. Cole in that cleanup spot did a terrific job yesterday, going 2 for 5, 3 runs batted in.
See Trout trying to kick that mud off his cleats. Get traction in case Cole gets a base hit into the outfield.
Down and away.
A lot of pitches down and away against left-handed batters. Talking to Don Baylor before the game, just looking and trying to find out some things about Heston. Left-handed batters will try to throw that two-seamer away, force you to chase something out of the strike zone. Really doesn't have a good fastball on the inner half against a lefty.
Big lead for Trout at second. 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes. Heston with a 2-2 record, a 2.77 ERA. This is his 5th start of the year. 26 innings, 26 hits, 20 strikeouts, and 6 walks prior to tonight.
Hey, with Cole leading off a game in that leadoff spot, 3-0 count, take. You're in that number 4 spot, you're swinging the bat very well. Green light right here.
And there's ball 4. Almost as if he didn't want to do anything to hit there. Stayed away from him. And they'll face David Freese. Freese was a DH yesterday, back at third base today. He had a 3-hit game yesterday. 3 for 5 with an RBI. Also picked up a double, his 5th of the year. Average of .233. It's almost the pitch as a right-handed batter you want to jump on with so much movement, especially you figure they're going to try to throw a sinker in on Freese now. David's seen a lot of pitches on the inside part of the plate, especially from righties. There it is on cue. 1-1.
But that's a pitch he can hit. Down and in. It's the up and in fastball around belt high. On the hands. More difficult for David. He can even turn on that one. He hits that ball very well to right field, that down and in two-seamer.
Trout standing at second with a 2-out double. Calhoun with a walk stands at first. Breaking ball chopped on the ground to third. Mason McGee will go the short way. They force out Calhoun, and the Angels are done here in the first. Right at the bottom of the first, C.J. Wilson on the mound with no score. Manager Bruce Bochy's starting lineup for the San Francisco Giants at 9-13 on the season. Nori Aoki will lead things off. He's in left field. Matt Duffy in second. Angel Pagan in center field. Buster Posey, the cleanup hitter, at first. Justin Maxwell, the former Astro and Royal, is in right field. Andrew Suzak gets a start behind the plate. Casey McGee at third base. Brandon Crawford, the shortstop. And Chris Heston batting ninth. He is the pitcher. Taking on C.J. Wilson, a 1-2 record and a 3.12 ERA to start the season.
Yeah, he's been very effective against the National League throughout his career. 9-7 mark with a 3.92 ERA. But the keys, the go-tos for me for C.J. to be successful: get quick outs, get that fastball down, and don't let Posey beat you. He's their one big threat in the lineup. Avoid him in those RBI situations.
Aoki looks at a strike. Hitting .303, 4 doubles, a triple, 4 runs batted in. Also 6 stolen bases for the Giants to start the season. Aoki went 4 for 12 against the Angels in the division series. Part of that Royals ball club.
Well, if you're a Giant in that dugout or even a fan on that third base side, watch out against Aoki against Wilson.
This was lined to the alley in left center field. That'll get down for a leadoff hit. Trout cuts it off. Aoki keeps on running. Here comes the throw from Trout. It's offline, and it's a double for Aoki. Would have been interesting if that throw is on the bag.
Yeah, out of the batter's box, Aoki decided he was going to go for a double. Trout fielded it well, got himself in pretty good throwing position, but that throw just up on the right side of the base. Giavotella had to go get it. That's what you want to do. You don't want to make sure you just hang around the bases. Make sure you get that baseball and not allow the runner to advance from second to third.
So the Angels got a man in scoring position in the first and did not score. Giants get their leadoff man in scoring position. This is Matt Duffy, the second baseman. Native of Long Beach, hitting .239 with a home run and 7 runs batted in. The Lakewood High School in Long Beach State. Two balls and no strikes. Duffy last year got to the big leagues, played 34 games at .267. 18th round selection in 2012. Ground ball to the right side. Sounded like he broke his back. Kroll will take it himself and will advance Aoki to third, 1 out.
You can see what Duffy was trying to do to hit the ball to that right side of the infield.
Angels defensively behind C.J. Wilson. It's Matt Joyce in left, Mike Trout at center, Cole Calhoun at right. The infield consists of David Freese, Eric Ivor, Johnny Giavotella, and C.J. Crone from third to first. Chris Iannetta back behind the plate.
And Cole Calhoun in right field. This is not an easy position to play, especially your first time through in this ballpark. The corners, the play, the caroms off the wall. Very good throwing arm. 10 outfield assists. He's 141 games in right field. You see how he's positioned. He's going to position that spot throughout the entire game.
Angel Pagan takes outside. Switch hitting center fielder, batting the 3 spot. Off to a good start. Veteran, 33 years of age, hitting .341. 6 doubles, triple, 6 runs batted in. Infield back will give up the run for the out.
Yeah, you can jam him with a fastball though. And that's what CJ was trying to do on that fastball.
Pagan from the right side this year, .385 average. .323 from the left side. This is in the air to left center field. Should be deep enough to score Aoki. Trout is underneath him. He'll make the catch. Aoki tags, and San Francisco grabs a 1-0 lead. Pagan with his 7th RBI.
And that's a San Francisco Giant run. Got a double to start with. get him over to third base and bring him in on a sac fly. Very similar when you think about the way the Angels have been successful over the year. Same thing with the Giants. It's manufactured runs.
Sorry, Gooby. It's a team that has struggled to score runs this year. They're just averaging 3 runs per game and only 2.6 runs a game in this ballpark. They certainly have missed Hunter Pence. Buster Posey fouling off the first pitch. It's an 0-1 count.
Nice changeup to start with. Posey looking fastball first pitch. CJ threw him a changeup.
Posey, the first baseman, chases the high fastball. 0-2 count. Slow start for Posey. He's, at least by his standards, a .263 average. 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. And down goes Posey, tied him up with a cut fastball, but San Francisco strikes for a run. We'll head to the second. Giants lead at 1-0. Netted to face Heston. Gave up a 2-out double and a walk in the first inning, but nothing more as Freeze rolled into a fielder's choice that ended the first inning. Well, back at first base. Pujols not in the starting lineup. DJ will look at his strike. Crow went 0 for 5 yesterday. He drops his average to .238 with a home run and 5 runs batted in. Chopper to short. Brandon Crawford has it. 1 away. Hey, folks, on Tuesday, be sure to celebrate Cinco de Mayo with us at the Big A when the Angels take on the Mariners at 7:05. They found the sombrero.
Yes.
Join us for Taco Tuesday. Drink specials and live entertainment at the Gay One Music Garden. Purchase tickets at the Angel Stadium ticket office.
That's awesome. Angel fans up here? There's sombreros
everywhere.
Oh.
Figured we would see them.
I ran into a couple that said they drove up this morning just for this game tonight.
That Joyce takes outside. Joyce hitting .134. He will look at a fastball for a strike. Matt yesterday 0 for 4. 2 for his last 36.
And a key to look for Matt Joyce is going to be his front foot. He needs to have that land before he goes to his swing.
Breaking ball pulled foul. Now, to his defense, Gooby, last couple of games, at the very least, take this however you want to take it, he has squared up some baseballs. He's hit them hard at some guys, but haven't fallen in for him. So at least mentally you think, all right, maybe I'm starting to get to that point where I'm seeing pitches and pulling the trigger when I should. Lays off.
And that whole timing mechanism for Matt Joyce is going to be get that front foot down. Reason why is because when he has that foot still in the air when the pitch is delivered getting towards home plate, his shoulder lifts up, and that's where you see a lot of those pop-ups. So it's important to be able to get that front foot down first and then through the baseball.
And he goes down swinging for out number 2. Looked like took something off that.
And you can see right here again, that foot has to be down. He's going in his timing process, the foot just getting down, and it forces that front shoulder to lift up. He has to have it down first and then through the baseball to be able to keep that level swing.
Right. Essentially, there's no base for him to work from.
Exactly. The only pitch he's going to be able to get is that pitch that you made a mistake on the mound, that kind of hanging breaking ball when your timing is off like that. But he's working on it. You mentioned that he's starting to get some decent swings.
2 balls and no strikes on Chris Iannetta. Chris had the day off yesterday as Drew Butera got the start behind the plate. And at 0-93 with a double and an RBI. Two balls and a strike. This one hopper to short. Heston with a 1-2-3 shutdown inning. We'll head to the bottom of the second with San Francisco up 1-0. Win against the Spurs to force a Game 7. Now the series comes back to LA for a playoff game. You won't want to miss it. All comes down to this. Spurs-Clippers tomorrow starting at 4:30 with Clippers Live pregame show only on Prime Ticket.
Oh, yeah, Blake Griffin.
The only one because of that.
Yes.
You called him out.
Words of encouragement.
He kept replaying that on his iPad.
He said, thank you for believing in me. Jamal Crawford, too, with a big shot towards the end, too. What new?
Wilson misses outside with the fastball. Justin Maxwell leading things off. Andrew Suzak and then Casey McGee. The 3 batters to face Wilson here in the second. Maxwell pops it up. Shallow right. Giavatella drifting out. 1 down. First pitch strikes something that's missing for CJ here through the first 5 guys. Got Posey to swing at the first one. A couple of guys in the 2 and 3 spot. Duffy and Pagan fell behind at 2 balls and no strikes. CJ with 18 strikeouts, 9 walks, and 26 innings of work coming into tonight's start. And this is outside for ball 1.
You can see where Cole Calhoun is playing in right field. He's going to be staying right around that State Farm area in right center field because of the fact is it goes the caroms off the wall. Everybody, I talked to a bunch of players on San Francisco also before the game. They avoid that line to stay a little bit further off in the right center field. The baseball carries different in that spot. Not an easy place to play for a right fielder, especially when you've never played here before.
1 ball, 2 strikes. You think while patrolling that area there, he's humming that song like a good neighbor? State Farm is there?
There's no doubt.
You think so?
Yes.
Chopper to short. Ibar 2 hops has it. Suzak retired. Second out. Drop 2 down. Casey McGee coming to the plate.
I mean, this team has been built, the Giants, on pitching. You can tell if you get the ball on the ground here, it's great infield dirt, pretty thick infield grass, you're going to get some outs.
Well, it's a very spacious ballpark. It is always cool here. It's windy, tough to hit the ball out of the ballpark unless you get it right down the line in right field. It's 309 here. But at first pitch, it was 59 degrees, cool, damp air. And you've got the nooks and crannies all over this ballpark. At the deepest part of this ballpark out in right center field, 421 feet. They call that Triples Alley. McGee.
Isn't that where Bonds went to break the all-time single season home run mark? It was against what, Chan Ho Park?
Yeah, just to the left of that.
Yeah, it's a long way.
McGee shoots one out to center. It'll hang out for Trout. 1, 2, 3. Go the Giants. 2 in the books. San Francisco leads at 1-0. To Chris Heston, who had himself a 1-2-3 shutdown inning as a second. 9-1-2. Wilson, Ibar, and Giavitello. Jay Wilson in his career 2 for 23.
Does have a couple runs scored and a triple.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Two strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 hit allowed for the right-hander on the mound. Break the ball, foul of the play. Well, that elbow CJ has been talking about in the last couple of days. There's an article that Alden Gonzalez of MLB.com put out yesterday. talking about a procedure that he had done. Some fluid drain from it. Doesn't seem to bother him swinging the bat. He fouls that one at the plate.
He's getting some good hard swings these pitches downstairs.
The more important thing too is that it doesn't bother him on the mound. Kind of an odd. I've had my knees drained a number of times in my lifetime. He's got bad wheels, but I've never heard something like that in the elbow region.
I was always afraid if they wanted to do that to my elbow or my shoulder, I would have nothing left.
That's not a good sign.
There goes another couple miles an hour on my fastball.
Chopper towards short. Crawford decides to play the short hop, and Wilson stumbles going around first. Mentioned it's very wet out there.
You're going to base hit on it too.
Yeah. So his third big league hit. Trying to figure out why Crawford played the short hop as opposed to laying back.
Just went with the pitch, hit that ground. But yeah, plenty of time, especially with the pitcher running down the line. Try to take away that hop. And CJ around the base slips.
That usually happens. You try to hit that top of the bag,
especially because it's wet around there. Still, you mentioned that earlier about the dirt being wet down pretty good before the game.
Ibar's 0 for 1. He popped out.
No jacket wearing. Most pitchers will wear a jacket when they're on first. Keep your arm warm.
One ball, but strike off speed pitch there from Heston. Are you a jacket wearer in the dugout?
No. Maybe a towel around the shoulder. Nothing against that, though. There's a lot of times you want to make sure you keep your arm warm if you can.
Ground ball towards first. Posey has it. It's a fair ball. Touches second base. Ibar's retired. Eric thought it was a foul ball. And certainly, I think Alfredo Griffin. Question is, looked like Posey fielded that before the bag. That should be the home plate umpire's ball. Bill Miller.
Before the base, it's always supposed to be the home plate umpire's ball, and I think that's what he's going to say, like Swisher right now.
But Adam Hamari, the first base umpire, called it foul.
See if it crossed first base. No.
The crew chief Bill Miller's going out now to see if Scioscia is happy with the explanation.
I think he's saying right now that Bill Miller, that's his call. And Scioscia's right about that.
Yeah, whether it's first base or third base, before the baseball gets to the bag, it's the home plate umpire's call. Once it gets to the bag, it becomes the base umpire's call. And Ibar quickly, he's the guy that's running down the line. He probably has the best view of anyone.
He's got a perfect view.
He stopped running because he thought it was foul. Now it's where the glove makes contact with the baseball in relation to the line on the ground. So it's a put out, 3 unassisted. C.J. Wilson in scoring position. Johnny Giavitello at the plate. Giavitello skies with the center. Not very deep. Second baseman Duffy is out. He'll make the grab for the second out. You know what? Even to the point where, to belabor the point here, Posey, I think, thought it was foul too. He was kind of in a nonchalant, he fielded and then turned around.
He made no effort to go to first base initially until he heard it was called fair. Interesting situation here with the Giants. They're up 1-0 here. Base open. They're going to go after Mike Trout, go righty versus righty. Even though Trout had a double against Heston his first at bat.
6th double of the year.
Trout 5 for 11 on this road trip so far through the Bay.
Slider missing down and away. C.J. Wilson able to take a big lead at second base with nobody holding him on and 2 outs.
Pretty good arms in the outfield too, so it's important for him to get a pretty good secondary lead. And as hard as Trout hits a baseball into the outfield, they can have a play at the plate.
There's the 1-1. Trout chopper back to the mound. Heston's got it. Handles are done. We'll head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. 8-9-1 coming up for the Giants as they lead at 1-0. Next Friday at 7:05. Remember, that's Mother's Day weekend. The first 20,000 adults in attendance on that Friday will receive a Mother's Day tote courtesy of Farmer John. Purchase tickets today at the Angel Stadium ticket office or online at angels.com.
Look forward to that one. Some good giveaways on this homestand. Seattle, night. Houston,
yeah, Colorado.
Rockies
for 2. The Angels and the Rockies playing a home-and-home 2-game set.
Those Houston Astros, they are playing well.
Yes, they are.
Winning again tonight.
15-7 to start the year. A 7-game winning streak. Mariners in Houston over the weekend. Crawford gets into one towards center field. Trout is there. 1 pitch, 1 out to start the 3rd.
Talked about that need for CJ to get those quick outs. A quick out here.
Four-game lead on the Angels with that 7-game winning streak. Seattle, the loss yesterday, 10-12. Oakland just took the lead against Texas. Texas had a 5-2 lead. Now Oakland leading that one 6-5 tonight. Texas rounding out.
Well, Houston leading Seattle again tonight, 4-1, late. Maybe it's a good thing as far as adding some veterans to their bullpen.
No balls, 2 strikes on the pitcher, Heston. 1 for 11 this year.
This Giant club has a couple pretty good hitting pitchers. Tim Hudson's a good hitter. Baumgartner definitely is. He wasn't real happy when Max Scherzer suggested that they go the designated hitter in the National League.
Off the end of the bat, foul. The count remains at 1-2. It is about time.
Well, the conversation about more runs. That's the best way. That's why they did initially in the American League.
Heston goes down swinging, and the ball gets away from Iannetta, and the pitcher will reach on the strikeout.
C.J. Wilson ended up with a hit in his at-bat. Now Heston, even though he struck out, advances to first base on the wild pitch. Breaking ball down and in. Again, turn the glove the wrong way for Chris Iannetta. You want to turn the glove the other way around to keep it in front of you, especially when you know your pitcher is going to throw a slider in the dirt, especially ahead of the count like that.
No question about it. Strikeout, wild pitch. Second punch out for Wilson, but one out. And Aoki at the plate. Aoki doubled out to left center his first time up. He was down and away. Crone, of course, with the pitcher at first base playing behind him, especially with a lefty bat up.
Aoki now 4 for 6 in his career against C.J. Wilson with that double his first at bat.
Two balls and no strikes. You believe there should be a DH in the National League, right?
Yes, at this point. Yes.
Now that you have,
I think if you're a
interleague play, but you've got one office. It's the commissioner's office. You don't have the two leagues and different umpires. You have one umpiring crew that does both leagues. Why not? And from a union standpoint, you know the union would be for it because you're gaining jobs. You're not taking away jobs.
And for the experience for a fan, you want to see a hitter up there that can attack a baseball, or a pitcher's going to be up there bunting or just trying to somehow, some way to advance a runner.
3 balls and a strike. I understand the whole psychology of the National League game, having a pitcher bat and double switches. Make sure in the National League you have to have a very good bench.
Yeah, extra
because
players
it will
like
get
it.
used. I just don't understand the fact that you still have 2 different sets of rules, if you will.
Especially when you're dealing when it gets to the World Series, the same thing.
Yeah.
So if the game is won by the American League, like last year in the All-Star game, they have the advantage. They have the DH, but you lose that DH 3 games, or potentially 4. And some teams, some clubs, their best hitters are their designated hitters. So all of a sudden you're in the postseason and World Series, they're not available.
And like everything else, because Adam Wainwright is out for the rest of the year because of the Achilles, it didn't happen while he was at the plate. Everything gets magnified. Everybody goes crazy about it. It becomes a hot button issue. 3-2. He fouls it off again.
Now, the one thing for me, though, when you have interleague play, because pitchers in the American League don't hit a lot, now all of a sudden, even when we saw CJ run over the base and slip,
right.
Now you don't get to hit a whole lot. National League pitchers, obviously, you get your at-bats during the course of the season. So if I think at the very least, when you have interleague play, everyone, whether you're home or on the road, you should have the DH.
Breaking ball fell off. I mean, Sosha's not a big fan of having his guys swing the bats.
No.
Spring training, they don't swing the bat.
No, they just take every pitch.
Because he doesn't want anybody to get hurt.
And you're not going to do it all that much.
Good battle between these two here. Heston started to go. Oki bounces this one to second. High throw. Get one. Safe at first. 2 outs. Aoki at first base on the fielder's choice.
In the throw. Real close at that play at second.
In the neighborhood.
Yes.
Or at least in the neighborhood next to the neighborhood.
And they're going to look at that.
Yeah, they probably will. And looks like Boch is coming up the steps.
And that's something that changed this year.
Yeah, to me here, CJ's on the mound and the batter's in the batter's box.
Yeah,
I say go.
I thought that's what they
Absolutely.
talked about.
Now they're going to look at it. Or so it appears. Now, if you're going to make that decision, don't you have to make that decision, or at least notify the crew chief that, hey, we're going to take a look at this? But it looked like Wilson was ready to go, and Duffy was stepping into the batter's box.
In the batter's box at that point.
Right.
And they're not going to check it.
Now it could be he's asking about the in the neighborhood play. Is it a reviewable play? Because that's one of the things that they were going to allow to happen.
Yes.
To try to keep away from injuries.
Well, it definitely looked like his foot wasn't on the base on the high throw from Giavitello to Ibar for sure.
He was not on the base. This one hit the Giavitello. He'll run to the bag, and they force down Aoki. And the Giants are done here in the third. One to the fourth. Halos down 1-0. You have fourth inning to face Chris Heston. Right-hander has 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 2 hits allowed. The walk was in the first, and it was to Cole Calhoun as a first pitch breaking ball misses outside.
Good numbers in that cleanup spot for Cole. Talked about it earlier, 2-0 counts. Hitters very, very successful against Heston. See if Cole can drive a fastball here.
Caught the outside corner, 2 balls and a strike. Three ball, 1 strike count now. Freeze on deck. Sharply hit to second. Duffy has it. Cole retired for the first down. Check a look at the Honda upcoming schedule. 2 more here in San Francisco. Both day games Saturday and Sunday. Then it's a 9-game homestand. 3 against the Mariners, 4 against the Astros. Then after an off day on Monday the 11th. A 2-game set against the Rocks. Then it's the first East Coast swing. Baltimore, Toronto for 4 and 3 in Boston. Freeze looks at the strike. David 0 for 1. Hit into a fielder's choice that ended the first inning. Cool night here in San Francisco. Giants scored their run at the bottom of the first. Sac fly by Angel Pagan, scoring Nori Aoki, who led off the first with a double, went third on a ground out. reach for that breaking ball. 1-2. Heston last year pitching 3 games, 1 start, no record of 5.06 ERA. 12th round pick in 09 out of East Carolina University. His big league debut September 13th, 2014, and it wasn't a good day for the Giants in that ball game. Freeze fouls that one back over the screen. Count remains at 1-2. Although Heston didn't pitch poorly. The Dodgers scored 17 runs to set a record, most runs by a visiting team here in this ballpark. 24 hits as well that game. Good hitting day. He had a 1-inning relief stint, issued a walk, and his base runner restrained.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Fly down low. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Certainly a quick worker.
Yeah.
Nicknamed Hesto Presto.
Yeah, there was a minor league nickname he got by the radio broadcaster because he had a really quick inning.
Yeah.
Presto Presto. I like it.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to go with it, but I like it. 3-2. Chopper toward the middle. Crawford to his left. Comes in. Has it. And there's the second out of the 4th.
One thing, if C.J. Crow can get one of those little 2-seamers that run on the inner half, but not quite off the plate, he can turn on and hit it down the left field line. During batting practice, I was watching a lot of those baseball to stay fair down that line. A lot of times you think it would drift away. The way the wind is, not that it's really blowing real hard at this point, but earlier brought that back into play. So if you can hook it down the line, it's going to stay fair.
1 ball, 1 strike. Crow 0 for 1 with a ground ball to short.
Oh, what a beautiful yard here.
Joyce on deck. 5-0 retired by Heston. He's giving up that quote-unquote infield base hit to C.J. Wilson's Crow. Shoots a foul down the right field line. C.J. eventually stranded in scoring position. Devils have had 2 opportunities against Heston. Two again. Well, out in front of the breaking ball.
Getting a steady diet of curveballs and sliders. At some point, Heston might try to go upstairs with a fastball. He's going with a changeup.
You're almost doing a hitter a little favor on a changeup after throwing those sliders.
Curveball. That's the thing I was always taught in the minor leagues, especially never to throw a changeup after a curveball because you've already had change of speed. That's always very similar speed, so you can just try to track that baseball.
And he goes back to the breaking ball. Crone goes down swinging, and the Angels are down in order. We head to the bottom of the 4th. San Francisco still on top. even better, call 1-855-WANT-TWC. By Keck Medicine of USC, beyond exceptional medicine. And by your Southern California Toyota dealers.
San Francisco with a run in the first inning leads it 1-0 here in the bottom of the fourth. C.J. Wilson back to work. 2 strikeouts, no walks. And 1 hit allowed for C.J. That was the leadoff double for Aoki in the first inning. Pagan, Posey, and Maxwell 3, 4, and 5 for the Giants. Pagan, a sac fly in the first inning, picking up his 7th run batted in. Looks at a strike. Command has gotten locked back in for CJ. A little shaky to start the game. But that fastball command has been pretty good. This one off the end of the bat will flare into center for a leadoff single. Now you have the speedy Pagan to lead off at first base.
Yeah, the only reason why I was able to flare. Most flares you see into the outfield are going to be elevated pitches, and that's why I was able to get that ball into the outfield. It was just high enough to flare it in there.
Posey, a strikeout victim to end the first. He's 0 for 1. National League MVP in 2012, also the batting champion that season. This is outside for ball 1.
When you think about that, playing a demanding position like a catcher majority of your games, that's so hard to do. You have to deal with catching the pitchers, squatting the entire game, and still able to put up those offensive numbers. Even Joe Mauer.
Joe has slowed considerably. Buster's at 28 years of age now. Catchers that have won batting titles.
Yeah, not many of them, as you can see. It's not an easy thing to do. A lot of bubbles winning it.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Posey has grounded into 4 double plays. CJ very good as far as getting a ground ball double play.
Fouled off to the right. 1-2 now. Got to keep Pagan guessing over at first base. 16 stolen bases last year at 96 games. Good wheels. Pretty good lead for him as well. 1-2. There, 2 balls, 2 strikes. San Francisco 4-6 here at AT Park this year. Bruce Bochy, 2-time National League Manager of the Year.
With the Padres too to the World Series.
Posey skies on the right. Playable for Calhoun. Comes in a couple of steps. 1 down. Hey, after every Ducks playoff game, Fox Sports West and Prime Ticket bring you complete post-game coverage. Sunday night, the Ducks look to take Game 2 against the Calgary Flames at the Honda Center. After the game, switch to Prime Ticket as Ducks Live crew breaks down what happened on the ice.
Oh, they were really, really good last night.
Yeah.
The strength, the size of the Ducks just wore down Calgary. Calgary, a speed team. The Ducks is too strong last night.
They sent a message.
Big time.
Justin Maxwell with a fly ball to right field leading off the second. He's 0 for 1. .253, 3 home runs, 9 runs batted in. Played just 20 games last year with Kansas City. Rest of the time at AAA Omaha.
Bruce Bochy's done a great job as far as getting different players each and every year to come in and just believe in that team concept. Sometimes a lot of lefty-righty type platoons. Very successful doing that. He's had the same coaching staff for a long time. Guys stay around for quite a while. Players respect and like him a lot.
Hall of Fame manager.
No question.
And Tim Flannery not with him anymore. Roberto Kelly taking over at third base. Hensley Bam Bam Mullins, the hitting coach. Big time prospect from Curacao when he got to the big leagues with the Yankees. How can you not be a big time prospect with a nickname Bam Bam?
Yeah, you better not be a singles hitter.
2-1 pitch. Maxwell rolls it foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I signed Hensley Mullins 2001 with Newark Bears.
Nice. Good signing.
He was playing in Mexico and wanted to come back to the States. Ended up playing one more season in Mexico the following year, and then he got into coaching. He was the least of my headaches in that 0-1 Bears team with the Canseco brothers, and Jimmy Leyritz, Lance Johnson.
The King.
Yeah, the King. Pete Incaviglia.
Former Fighting Phil, too.
Yeah.
Remember that '93 World Series team that ended up losing to Joe Carter and the Toronto Blue Jays.
Big man. Check Pagan. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 4th. San Francisco leading at 1-0. I think he went straight to the big leagues, right?
It was quick. Right at it. I think he
Oklahoma
was.
State, right?
Yes.
Two. Downstairs. Full count. You figure Pagan will be on the move here. Andrew Suzak, the catcher's on deck.
So far pretty good as far as strike to ball ratio for C.J. Wilson. 50 pitches thrown, 32 in the strike zone. You know, if you're struggling to score runs, you would think on a 3-2 count you would take a shot at going.
Pagan doesn't go. Maxwell bounces it foul.
I faced him a lot.
Roberto Kelly.
Oh, yeah. He was a good hitter.
Still in great shape.
Oh, he had a great arm, too, in the outfield.
Yeah, he did. Pagan takes off this time. That's a called strike 3. The throw down to second is not in time. Well, Chris Iannetta didn't have much on that throw to second base. If he does, Pagan is easily out.
He didn't get a real good jump. Giavitello tried to quick tag him and then keep it on his body as he almost slid off the base.
They're looking at it in the Angels clubhouse. And now it looks like maybe Socha might review this.
And I wonder if his foot went off the bases. Giavitello kept a tag on him.
Yeah, they are going to review it. So Bill Miller, the crew chief, summons Doug Eddings, the second base umpire, to put the headphones on and take a look at it. But Chris must have just not gotten a very good grip on the baseball, the transfer from glove to hand, because that ball kind of died there. Question is, did Giavitello keep a tag on, and did Pagan come off?
Foot looked like it was in there.
I'm not sure what the Angels saw.
See if we get another angle potentially if he did have the tag on him before. He's trying to keep the glove on him.
Yeah, but that shot there, did it not look like hand and foot stayed on the bag?
Like stayed on the base. Soch must think that the tag was put on him before he got his foot in. See at this angle right here.
Oh, before the foot got
in there now. That's real close. Very, very close. See, the one angle, it'd be tough to be able to overturn it. That angle, you have a little better shot. See here.
This would be tag.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be.
He might have got him.
Yeah.
From that angle, see, it still looked like he had his hand on the base. I think he might have got the tag in there just before the foot hit the base.
Okay, that one you're blocked. Can't see the.
That last one would be probably the best one.
Pretty good. But still a tough call to overturn. Let's see if can slow it down.
Right here. See if the tag was put on. Foot's about ready to get
tag.
The bait. Tag. Yeah. He's not on the base at that point.
There's the tag. Well, right around there is the tag. That's going to be tough.
Super close.
Yeah.
Initially, I thought maybe his foot went off the base the way he kept the tag on.
That's kind of what I was focused on because Giavotella kept the tag. But I'm sitting there going, I'm looking at the hand of the foot. I'm like, they didn't come off the bag after he was called safe.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think Chris had a good grip on the baseball because it tailed back in towards the runner.
Because if he does, I mean, it's a no doubt. If it's on the bag, he's easily out. Because Pagan kind of waited for CJ to come home with the pitch. But right now it's a stolen base. Third of the season for Pagan. There are 2 outs.
Scioscia's been pretty good as far as certain times to pick and choose between trying to get a call overturned. You remember that play at home with CJ Cron was called out on a potential double play ball, ended up being ruled safe, and he's out.
And they did call him out. So they did tag him on the back right before the foot. So the call gets overturned and it goes in the Angels' favor. So we've played 4 now. Here's a look at the replay once again. Tag on the back before the foot touches the base. Great shot. 1-0 San Francisco. Halos to face Chris Heston. Joyce signed Adam Wilson. Heston's retired the last 6 in a row. Joyce 0 for 1 with a strikeout. 3 infielders on the right side for the Giants.
Well, you see the swing right there, just pulled off the baseball again. He's trying to stay back, work on his timing.
That's hit out toward the shallow center field. Pagan comes racing in, makes the catch. 1 down.
Take one more look here on that slide by Pagan and the tag by Giavotella. Tag on that right shoulder back area and then the foot on the base. That's the angle they saw back in New York to be able to make that call to overturn the safe call.
It has really forced the infielders to kind of stay with the play. I know we touched on it a couple of weeks ago talking about the umpires staying with the play. But in years past, it was just a swipe. It was a quick tag or motion to tag and then show the glove to the umpire.
You'll get the out call, but then all of a sudden when you review that, you don't see a tag being applied sometimes.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Inetta, grounded out to short in the second.
Boy, Heston does not waste any time. Well, Dave Righetti's done a nice job as a pitching coach. 16th season as the pitching coach for the Giants for Dave Righetti. What a job he has done. What a no-hitter in his career.
Day game at Yankee Stadium.
Did he get Wade Boggs at the last out?
It's a good question. I believe Mel Allen had the call of his no-hitter.
How about that?
Yeah. Two balls and 2 strikes. Full count. Wilson on deck. Halos with 2 hits. C.J. Wilson's base hit. Trout's double back in the first.
It's the second full count for Heston.
Chopper toward the hole. Crawford to the backhand. Nice play. Low throw dug out by Posey. 2 outs. Boy, that ball jumped up on Crawford and he stayed with it.
And he fielded that in the outfield grass. Skipped that one across one hop to Buster Posey at first base. Well in the outfield grass. Then on the skip on the grass, like the old school David Concepcion using the AstroTurf, he used that grass to get that one hop throw over to Buster Posey.
Wilson 1 for 1 with a base hit. .72 pitches thrown by the right-hander, 44 for strikes. AJ pulls this one toward Posey. Feed Heston and Angels down in order, so 9 in a row now retired by the Giants right-hander. Well, at the bottom of the 5th, Giants still up 1-0. Highway miles per gallon. Visit Jeep.com for more information. And by AT&T Uverse. More live TV channels on the go than cable. Beautiful shot from high above. Downtown San Francisco, just to the right. That is AT&T Park. Down on the bottom left, McCovey Cove just beyond that. Wind has kind of died down. It was really whipping around today in the city, and even during batting practice, but it has calmed down. Still a cool night. San Francisco with a run in the first inning. It's the only run of the ballgame. 1-0. The bottom of the fifth. Suzak, McGee, and Crawford. 6, 7, and 8 for the Giants. Suzak 0 for 1 as he grounded out to short. McCovey Cove.
That's got to be quite warm there.
Oh, no doubt. '68 splash hits into McCovey Cove. One ball, one strike. Gibby, you were right about Dave Righetti's no-hitter. It was Wade Boggs, struck out. To finish off that game, Don Baylor's in the game. Speaking of good hitters. Willie McCovey in the house. This one out to shallow right center field. Cole Calhoun dives and he get it. Yes, he did. The Red Baron flying through the air. Makes the catch, and there's out number one.
Yeah, that
got some hang time.
That wasn't one of those sliding ones. That was in the air for quite a while. What a play by Cole Calhoun. The leap and the snag and the hold on to the baseball also.
That's the part that wasn't sure of, as he hit that ground extremely hard.
What a play by Cole.
McGee looks at his strike. The thing about that play is Giamatella started to go out and kind of stopped. I think he thought that ball was going to travel more, and I think that's what Cole had to turn on the afterburners.
And a lot of times you see outfielders time that leap. That was not a time leap. That was a full extension on the dive with some air to be able to make a great play.
Heck of a play.
And the uni dirty. That's all you want.
McGee, a fly ball to center field in the second. He's 0 for 1. Sends out to right. A little more pedestrian for Cole. 2 outs.
And look how far he's got to go. Comes out of nowhere on a camera angle and the full dive in the air. Outstanding play by Cole. And remember, when it's cool like this, that first initial burst you have in the outfield. Oh, a great camera angle. That's going to be a great picture. That's fun to see. Boy, as a photographer, those are the moments you want. We'll get back to that quick initial burst as you try to come in and make a play like that. It's not easy to do, especially on a cool night like this.
Crawford looks at the strike. Hammered out to center field. Hit well. Trout back near the wall, and he'll make the catch. Where baseballs go to die. That is a long way. Cole Calhoun set the tone of this inning. A terrific diving catch. Angels still trailing. Halos at the top of the order coming up, and Ibar, Giavatella, and Trout trying to bunt his way on, and Ibar bunts it foul. Chris Heston has been very, very good against the Angels tonight. 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, just 2 hits allowed. He's kept the Angels hitters off balance. Only real mistake that he made was a hanging breaking ball, or a fastball over the heart of the plate on a 2-0 count to Mike Trout in the first inning that he doubled to the alley. Left center field on. Bounces it foul. It's no balls, 2 strikes. There, go for 2. A pop up and a ground out. Ibar goes down swinging on a high fastball, 1 away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Los Angeles Angels. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Angels. 1 down, nobody on it. Johnny Giavatella coming up. Angels second baseman 0 for 2. A strikeout and a pop-up. 1 ball, no strikes. Mentioned before the game started, Heston's thrown the ball well for the Giants this year. Just toward the middle. Crawford to his left has it. Strong throw to first, 2 away. Hey folks, celebrate Mother's Day with the Angels when they take on the Astros May the 10th at 12:35. The first 20,000 adults in attendance will receive a Mother's Day scarf courtesy of Farmer John. Purchase your tickets at the Angel Stadium ticket office or online at angels.com.
We are so set for Mother's Day. Really working hard for those gifts, too.
You are seriously pumped up about this.
There is a ton of Angel fans here.
Trout looks at a breaking ball for a strike, 1 for 2. Double in the first, and a comeback to Heston in the 3rd inning. Chase that breaking ball 0-2. Heston at one time briefly released by the Giants. They needed the spot in the 40-man roster, so they DFA'd him. There's a spot for Jeff Francoeur. Cleared waivers, and then he re-signed with the Giants. Throwing the ball well. Debuted last September, and now making his 5th big league start this year. Off to the right.
Looking at what hitters have done against Heston as he progresses in games. Now with 82 pitches, from pitch 76 to 90, hitters are hitting 353. The more they see from him, the better chance they have of squaring up a baseball.
Strike 3 on the inside corner. Bill Miller rings up Trout, and the Angels have done here in the 6th. Giants up 1-0.
66 W's. It's 108 losses. That's since 2000. Well, since 2007, 96 and 52 in interleague play for the Angels.
Trailing this one 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th. 9-1-2. Heston, Aoki, and Duffy. Heston struck out in the 3rd inning, but reached on the wild pitch. Another sellout crowd here at AT Park. 338th consecutive sellout as Heston goes down swinging for the first out.
Pretty amazing how well they draw here. Remember the old ballpark, Candlestick Park, slightly different.
Yeah. The fog would have rolled in by now. Candlestick. But still, that was like a movie set. And that fog would just roll over that.
Yeah, it doesn't even look real.
Upper deck. No, it just kind of rolls down the seats. It rolled down the seats. Crazy. Aoki looks at his strike. Left fielder doubled and scored to the 1st. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Crone has this one on the infield grass. 2 down. The Angels better figure it out quickly, as Heston's been on a roll. 12 consecutive batters retired.
Well, you've said that a lot of late.
Yeah.
They get on rolls. We saw that with Sonny Gray a couple of times. Can't let a pitcher settle in like that. And all of a sudden the confidence grow. You expand the strike zone. As a hitter, you start to press.
Breaking ball for a strike. Both teams with just 2 hits.
CJ's certainly done his job.
Yeah. And contributed a single. Somehow that will make the quotes tonight.
There's no questioning that. As most pitchers would always talk about that. Is their ability to hit.
Pulled toward 3rd, Freeze has it. Wilson responds with another 1-2-3 frame. 6 complete. Still 1-0 Giants.
Had a base hit, but out of nowhere, the time, the leap, and an outstanding defensive play by Cole Calhoun, diving, catching that baseball, and also holding on to, getting high fives in the dugout for an outstanding defensive play.
Now it's time for the offense to get it going. Down to 1-0 here, the 7th. Calhoun, Freeze, and Crone. 84 pitches thrown by Heston. The 85th is downstairs. Cole with a walk and a ground down. That puts him at 0 for 1. It's the only free pass issued by the right-hander. 5 strikeouts as well.
That's a good count now.
He has stayed away from left-handed batters for the most part.
Get a little extra scouting report about that. He loves to throw those fastballs and changeups away, even backdoor sliders from a lefty. Doesn't feel comfortable throwing anything on the inner half against a lefty. With that being said, nice play by Alfredo Griffin. Those hands. If you're going to stay away, you got to drive the ball to left center field. There's a pretty good carry down the left field line here. Look at Alfredo. Picking machine.
It's what he do. Strike, got a fastball. They have missed a little bit upstairs, but Bill Miller rings it up. Cole flips one out to shallow left field. That will get down for a leadoff single.
In my Hyundai key for this game is Cole's base hit in the left field off the end of the bat. Something in the water. It may take that. Get a mistake. Drive it out of the ballpark. Get it in McCovey Cove. Although it's going to be difficult for a left-handed batter, especially staying away. And that's why Cole did a good job of just going with the pitch and getting a base hit in the left.
Freeze 0 for 2. Fielder's choice and a ground ball to short. We'll look at his strike.
Boy, David would love that pitch back again. 87-mile-an-hour fastball. Much the heart of the plate. Not a lot of sink on that one. He's getting to that point now for Heston where pitch count getting up. More apt to make a mistake, especially as a sinker ball pitcher. Maybe drag your elbow, elevate a fastball. That becomes very hittable.
Cole, the second leadoff man to reach the started inning. Wilson did it with a single into third. Then the next 3 went down in order. Tried to avoid that here.
Bullpen action for the Angels right now. Reason because of the potential of C.J. Wilson's spot coming up in this inning.
Fernando Salas first man up. Chopper to third. Bobbled. Goes to Crawford. They fire to second. Out at second, and Cole Calhoun can't believe it.
Well, Mike Scioscia's going to look right away on that one.
Doug Eddings, a second base umpire, making the call.
Boy, it sure looked like he beat that one. That was a quick reaction by Crawford, though. I thought he had a better chance of throwing across the diamond.
That's what I thought he was going to do when he picked it up.
Right away.
Mike Scioscia's going to have this challenged here. And they will review it.
Now, this is potentially a huge play for the Angels.
That ball just popped out of the glove of Casey McGee right to Crawford, who went to second base. The call is out at second. Oh, that's going to get overturned.
There's no question. And Dino Ebel right away tipped the hat to Scioscia. No hesitation. But I thought that Crawford might have had a better chance, although a more difficult throw, especially with your bare hand to throw across the diamond like that. Cole right away put up the safe sign. He was stunned that he was called out. Foot on the base before the baseball gets into the glove of Duffy at second. No question.
You're not getting much of a reaction here in the ballpark because the replay's on the board out in straightaway center field. You can't see the bag. So neither for or against the call. Mike Scioscia's used replay review to his advantage tonight. The call overturned when Pagan was called safe on a stolen base in the fourth inning. That got overturned as a caught stealing. That ended the fourth. But this would be big to have first and second with nobody out to start the seventh.
The slide, the foot, the contact with the base before the glove is secure with the baseball. No question.
The call on the field is out. Angels challenging it. Again, the old pace of play needs to be buttoned up a little bit when it comes to these reviews. And they're calling him out. Unbelievable. You can't argue it. It's an automatic ejection if you do come out to argue.
I'm fairly stunned on that one.
I mean, the foot touches the base before the ball hits the glove. And here in our broadcast booth, we're flanked by both Giants broadcast crews. They just knocked on the window and threw their hands up. They couldn't believe the call either.
I'm fairly. I mean, that's unbelievable.
That's like flipping a coin. What's the point of having reviews? That's terrible. Fielder's choice for Freeze. 1 out.
Bullpen action now for the Giants is a long in between pitches for Heston also.
Thrown 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. Freeze takes off. The hit and run works. Freeze will turn second, head to third. So first and third with 1 out.
It's worked well a couple times on this road trip with C.J. Cronus. Lets the ball travel a little bit later to stick it in terms of making contact. And twice he's hit the ball to right field and successfully worked a hit and run. That's all you're trying to do as a hitter. Hit the ball on the ground, hit the spot where the defender is going to vacate that spot, especially with a right-handed batter. And second baseman is always going to be covering the base.
And what could be potentially a 1-1 game with that base hit. Chi gets ready. Getty out to pay a visit. So first and third, 1 out, 1-0 Giants here in the 7th. Matt Joyce 0 for 2 with a strikeout, a fly ball to center. Heston has thrown 93 pitches so far.
If there's ever time for Matt Joyce to have that timing right for a swing to do some damage, this is the spot.
Freeze at third, Crone at first. Joyce fouls it back. Good rip.
Boy, did he have a pitch to do some damage.
One ball, 1 strike. The ruling on the play at second is that the replay official could not definitively determine whether or not the runner's left foot reached the bag prior to the ball contacting the interior of the fielder's glove. Seems like everyone else could, but not the replay official. One pitch. Downstairs.
I think he's getting tired. That's a changeup, and that goes on the inner half of the plate. When you're a right-handed pitcher with a lefty up, you do not ever want to throw a changeup on the inner half of the plate and down. You want to run that changeup away.
Good hitters count at 2-1. Joyce pulls one up the middle. There's a base hit. We're tied up at 1. Crone will turn second. He's going to try to go to third. Here comes the throw from Pagan, and it is not in time. Matt Joyce with his 6th RBI ties this one up in the 7th.
Getting that big base hit. Matt Joyce tying it up. That's a good swing. That good balance we talked about. Foot is down and then threw the baseball well and back up the middle for Matt Joyce for a base hit and an RBI, giving him now 6 RBI on the season.
And this will chase Heston as Bochy's on his way out. So Heston was cruising, 12 straight retired prior to the 7th inning. And he allowed 3 hits. Now the lead. It is a 1-1 game. Money. Log on to MercuryInsurance.com to get a fast, free quote and see how much you can save. And buy Hyundai. Great deals on amazing cars are going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today. Tied at 1 here, the 7th inning. The Halos with runners at first and third and 1 out. And Gene Machie, the right-hander, on in relief of Chris Heston. Facing Chris Iannetta, they'll throw to first and they'll check in on Matt Joyce. Joyce with an RBI single to tie this game up at 1.
And Machie's fastball, 91-96 slider, and a very good swing and miss split finger fastball. He throws quite a few of them. So if you're a third base, if you're C.J. Cron, look for that pitch in the dirt.
Pitching in his 12th ball game, 1-0 record, a 2.31 ERA, 6 strikeouts, 4 walks in 11 and 2/3 innings. First one to Chris. Lays off, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. It's our in and out, who's in, who's out. Heston is done after 6 1/3, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 5 hits. And she, a 33-year-old right-handed native of Venezuela. 71 games for the Giants last year, 7-1 and a 2.58 ERA in his second full season. This being his third. 1-0. Right-handed, pops it up, first base side. Headed toward the seats and out of play. Chris 0 for 2. He has grounded twice to Crawford, the shortstop. One ball, 1 strike. He had some words for Machie. And not just because her last name's Ryan. Now remember, there's no more third to first. You have to throw it to third. Gary DiSarcina flashing the signs. Iannetta's checking him out, as is C.J. Cron.
Bruce Bochy knows Mike Socia very well. A lot of these plays he's putting on this to make sure, just in case the thought is of a suicide squeeze.
And with a guy at the plate that has struggled offensively, why not try it? Although Chris has bunted a whole lot. 1-1. You almost hit him.
Well, if Chris gets on somehow, some way, that'll probably be a pinch hitter. And then for C.J. Wilson, ran that fastball. Look, might have been a split finger fastball. Well off the plate. Yeah, that was a splitter.
Joey Silver at first, Cron at third. They'll check in on Matt. Situation too is the base runner, the trail runner at first base. You got to make sure that Richie is going home, not doing anything else. Last thing you want to do is get picked off here with one out.
Yeah, this gives Chris a chance to get the job done with a sac fly. And Chris just look for something up in the strike zone during the good hitters count.
2-1 pitch. That was that high fastball.
That's the pitch you can hit in the air and get the job done, especially when Chris is going well. That's a pitch you can drive real hard to right center field. Upper part of the strike zone, according to our Fox strikes, is barely touching the upper part. But still, that's what you're looking for as a hitter, something upstairs. You don't want to hit a ball on the ground.
Count evened up at 2-2 now.
Looks like he's going to try to go something away here.
And he foul tips that one into the mitt. 2 down. So apparently C.J. Wilson's going to bat for himself here.
Fastball away on the outside corner.
Halos do have a left-handed bat on the bench as they called up Efren Navarro today before the game. They sent Grant Green down.
That's a way to help yourself right now. I'm pretty surprised at this.
Fly ball to center. Very surprised. The Angels tie it up, and that's all they get. We'll head to the bottom of the 7th, a 1-1 game. And he'll be facing 3, 4, and 5, and perhaps that is the reason why Mike Scioscia deciding to go with CJ in the batter's box with the potential go-ahead run standing at third base, because 3, 4, and 5 are coming up, Pagan, Posey, and Maxwell. 6 innings, 2 hits. He's done a terrific job tonight. Command a little sketchy, if you will, in that first inning, but he has really locked it back in. 4 strikeouts and no walks. Pagan takes outside for ball one. Giants center fielder 1 for 1, had a sac fly in the first inning, a single in the fourth.
Very manageable pitch count here so far for C.J. Wilson. Very important to put up a 0 now. So important. Bullpen's been taxed a little bit in Oakland.
This one's out to right field. It's a leadoff single. Pagan just reaching out for it. The second time that he has led off an inning with a base hit.
He's had a pretty good game. 2 hits and a sac fly to center.
That'll bring up Buster Posey. Posey 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly ball to right. Sergio Romo now getting ready for the Giants. Looks like he'll pitch the 8th. Posey taps this one foul.
Good all-speed pitch from C.J. Could really use that double play, which we've seen a lot out of C.J. Wilson, especially with Posey's power.
Ball gets away from Iannetta. Allows the go-ahead run, potential go-ahead run, to get in scoring position. Well, he just held that ball. It is a pass ball. With the offensive struggles for Chris, it's one thing to go through that, but then taking that struggle out on the field, you got to leave that stuff behind.
Yeah, you got to anticipate a cut fastball to have that type of action. That wasn't that wide of a pitch for CJ.
Posey shoots one to right, hangs up for Calhoun, 1 out. Pagan cannot tag. That ball was squared up so well. 1 out.
Cole did a nice job of getting himself in very good throwing position just in case Pagan thought about it. That's a huge out.
Follow the Angels all season long with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat up to the moment and any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet today. 1 out, 1 on. Justin Maxwell, the right fielder, up 0 for 2, a fly to right and a strikeout. Tapper, good off-speed pitch. No balls and a strike. 78 pitches, 61 strikes, so the ratio absolutely fantastic for C.J. Wilson. As I said when we came on the air, bottom of the 7th inning, that perhaps the reason Wilson did hit for himself was because of the middle part of the order and the manageable pitch count. It's a tough call as a road team in a 1-1 game.
And you're going to be asked that question right away. A number of the reporters go right into Mike Scioscia and ask that. You know, the bullpen was taxed in the series against Oakland. No question about that. CJ trying to instill that confidence. Maybe Mike Scioscia let him go deep in games.
This one out to right, not very deep. Pagan looks like he wants to tag. Cole makes the catch, but Pagan stays at second, 2 outs.
Yeah, Cole has a strong, accurate throwing arm, and he always seems to get himself into good throwing position. Not worth it. You're already in scoring position. You don't want to be out at third, especially with a guy with a reputation of an accurate throwing arm in right field.
2 outs. Pagan still at second. Andrew Suzak, catcher up. Halos in the 8th inning. Will have their top of the order coming up. Ibar, Giavatella, and Trout. Didn't miss by much. It's 1 ball, no strikes.
A great spot on his 2-seam fastball. The other day, CJ told me his last game now he threw a lot more 2-seam sinking fastballs in the outside corner. Tried to hit the outside corner against right-handed batters. This has been a very effective pitch again tonight for him.
Two balls and 1 strike. Giavatella trying to keep Pagan close to the bag at second. Even with 2 outs. Backdoor breaking ball misses. 3-1. Casey McGee is on deck. Suzak was at the plate with the fly ball to shallow right that Cole Calhoun made the terrific catch on.
Smart pitch. 3-1 changeup. You still have an open base, so that doesn't mean you have to groove a fastball. Hits the spot. Great changeup. Right on the outside corner at the knees.
Full count. 1-1 game here, the bottom of the 7th. Matt Joyce tying it up for the Angels in the top of the inning. Here's a payoff. Tied him up. Bounced it foul. Nice play by a fan. Suzak, an Oregon State product. Second round pick in 2011. To start behind the plate today with Posey starting at first. Another 3-2 on the way. It's a chopper toward the middle. Ibar can't get it. Pagan will come in to score, and the Giants have retaken the lead 2-1. Suzak picks up his second RBI of the season.
Just by Eric Ibar's glove. You're diving as an infielder. All you're thinking in terms of is knocking this ball down, and that's all Eric tried to do was knock that down and keep it from getting to the outfield grass. Prevent the run from scoring.
So the Giants answer back here, the bottom of the 7th. Here's McGee. Fly ball to center, to fly ball to right. First one's up and away. Long hold for CJ. Goes inside, 2-0 now.
Dangerous pitch now for CJ. He's trying to gather his thoughts, went off the back of the mound. Well, that pass ball right now really the result in the run.
Yep. Foul off to the right. It's 2-1. Jason McGee had a big year for the Marlins last year. Picked up an off-season deal. Gone moving to second, as you were mentioning, on that pass ball after leading off the seventh with a base hit. Three balls and a strike, and that ball's in the dirt. Allows Suzak to get into scoring position. That'll be called a wild pitch.
I think that's supposed to be a changeup. It just pulled the pitch across his body. Yeah, that's a changeup right in front of the plate.
But again, Chris trying to block that ball on one knee.
Got to move your whole body across and square up the shoulders and keep it in front.
3 balls, 1 strike. Crawford on deck. That was ball 4. First walk of the night for Wilson. Nobody warming up for the Angels. And Crawford, who skived out to deep center field in the 5th inning, will step to the plate. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of fly balls to Trout. Butcher now is going to come out and pay a visit.
Trying to get CJ through this inning. Speaking of this inning, 21 pitches thrown. It was 91 in this game, the first inning in which he's had over 20 pitches thrown. Very economical in the 2nd and the 6th inning with his 9 and 8 pitches thrown in both of those innings.
First time tonight the Giants have had multiple base runners on board against CJ. Suzak standing at second, McGee at first. Now it looks like there's some scrambling going on. Guys headed down to the Angels' pen. Crawford guessing fastball, gets a breaking ball. It's 0-1. No bullpens per se as far as guys hanging out down the line. Just the mounds and the home plates. Guys hang out down by the dugout. Salas going back, hustling up.
Shouldn't take him long to get loose. He threw earlier in the game.
Looks like Cesar Ramos, the lefty's also going down that way. Looked like he went around. He did. 0-2. At that point, don't you just throw Barry another breaking ball?
There's no question. Don't even try to set him up for the next pitch being the breaking ball in the dirt. A lot of times you'll see a pitcher try to throw a fastball upstairs. No.
1 run, 5 hits, 5 left on for the Angels. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 left on for the Giants. A 2-1 Giants lead here in the 7th. They've answered back. Got him swinging. Down goes Crawford, inning over, but Andrew Suzak delivers the RBI single that puts the Giants back in the lead, 2-1.
in that 2002 World Series Championship Series against this Giant club. Hit .310 as a team, averaged nearly 6 runs a game. 7 Angel regulars hit .280 or better, and Troy Gloss, the MVP, 3 home runs, 8 RBI, 3 doubles. Some rockets he hit in that series to win the MVP as the Angels win their only World Championship ever against the San Francisco Giant club.
Halos play from behind again. It is 2-1 Giants. Top of the 8th inning. Ibar, Giavotella, and Trout to face Sergio Romo. Romo pitching his 10th game, 0-1 record, 2.45 ERA. First one is in there for a strike. McGee playing in over at third to see the numbers for Romo. A fantastic 2013 season with 43 saves, an all-star that year. This one's pulled foul. No balls, 2 strikes.
Certainly not overpowering. Fastballs 85 to 89. He's not real happy with that inning unfolded.
Breaking ball sharply hit towards second. Backhanded by Duffy, and it goes off his glove.
Good start to the inning. Tried to backhand that one, hit the heel of his glove and away from him. You will see a lot of sliders from Romo. 47% of his pitches slider. Another 11% changeups.
Duffy's going to get charged with an error, his 2nd of the year. So tying run on board. Here's Johnny Giavotella. 0 for 3. A strikeout, a pop-up, and a ground out. McGee anticipating a sacrifice. He's way into third.
The thing is, you run into that same scenario where the Giants may walk Trout again.
Yeah.
And bring Cole up with 2 on. I think you're more apt to see a hit and run, especially because Romo doesn't throw real hard, fairly slow to the plate.
Giants have Jeremy Offeld getting ready. The lefty slider missing down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. That is their answer to Cole Calhoun. What a back end of a career that Offeld has certainly carved out as a reliever.
A lot of attention last year in the World Series about Bumgarner, because Offeld, what he did before the ball got to Bumgarner was the key for the Giants winning the World Series.
I mean, a super prospect coming up with the Royals, fireballing starter.
Close some games.
Yeah. Just had a heck of a career here in San Francisco. He's getting ready in the pen. Ibar reaching on the error by Duffy, stands at first. 1 ball, 1 strike on Giavotella. Trout on deck. Check swing on the slider. Did not go. 2 balls and 1 strike. Romo last year 64 games for the Giants. And 5 straight seasons in which he has thrown 64 or more games for San Francisco. And a tap of foul. Big slider again.
Well, he's going to throw a ton. Even on a 2-1 count, you have Mike Trout on deck. You would think if you're Giavotella, you're going to get a fastball, but not with Romo. He throws his slider more for strikes than it does his fastball. He can control that better, more confident.
Brawley, California. Brawley High School. Brawley Union High School. Check in of Ibar again. Giants 28th round pick in 2005. 2-2. Slider in the air to center field. That will get down for a base hit. Ibar will turn. He's going to try to go to third, and he will make it, only because Pagan's throw was way offline. Ill-advised gamble, but it works in the Angels' favor. The first two have reached to start the eighth.
Aggressive base running. Sometimes you take chances when you're struggling scoring. Hesitated, then decide to take that shot. Yeah, he could not make that pick. If he does, I think he's out at third base. You got your right guy up here now in this scenario with Mike Trout, though.
Not an easy play for a third baseman either, because you're looking at the one hop coming your way and you're screened by a base runner sliding in.
Yeah, you're just hoping that ball hits your glove.
Yeah. Romo alertly backing up on the play. So Giavatello at first, Ibar at third base. Trout looks at a slider for a strike.
Johnny Giavatello once again with a clutch hit.
Trout 1 for 3, a double in the first, his 6th of the season. Check swing, he went around. Bill Miller rings him up. And it is an 0-2 count.
Well, you can imagine this slider being way off the outside corner.
Right-hander Santiago Casilla has joined Affeldt in the pen. Fernando Salas, Cesar Ramos getting ready for the Angels. 2-1 San Francisco. Runners at the corners, nobody out here in the eighth. One and two.
Trying to sneak a fastball way off the plate.
Halos 1 for 6 with men in scoring position tonight. The one, Matt Joyce, had tied things up at that point in the 7th.
Here, Trout just use that strength he has in his flick a ball in the right field for a base hit on a slider.
And he got him fouled. No, foul at the plate. Did not hang on to him. Count remains at 1 and 2. Inning started when Ibar reached on the error by Duffy, the second baseman. Cole Calhoun on deck. Romo about to throw his 13th pitch. Slider got him swinging. 1 out. 76-mile-per-hour slider from Romo.
A couple different speeds on this slider. One a little harder. That one slower, out in front. Unable to make contact. It was Bochy now. Going to go to the bullpen.
He's going to play matchup here. Affeldt's going to come into the ballgame. A pitching change. Halos with runners at the corners and 1 out, down by a run. Show for the business of sports, brought to you by AutoNation.com and powered by AutoNation Toyota Irvine. Jeremy Offeld on in relief of Sergio Romo with runners at first and third. One out. Cole Calhoun at the plate. Offeld 0-1 record, a 1.42 ERA. 10th ball game this year. 6 in the third innings. 2 strikeouts, 3 walks, 4 hits allowed.
Yeah, not quite as overpowering as he once was. Still decent fastball, 87-91. Curveball in the last few seasons, a split finger fastball.
Offeld now 35 years of age. He's got Ibar at third. Chivatella at first. Cole looks at a fastball for a strike.
Well, Cole's had another solid game, both at the plate and certainly in the field. Big opportunity to be able to, at the very least, tie this one up.
1 for 2 with a walk, a ground out, and a base hit. Shoots this one foul.
Well, that approach is trying to go the other way. He's just staying away against him. Susak's going to go out and talk to Offeld right now. 0-2. Does Offeld have the confidence to be able to throw his breaking ball in the dirt now?
Cole's not your typical lefty that you can match up on. He's 5 for 15 this year against left-handed pitching. A pretty good hitter against left-handed pitching throughout his brief big league career.
Stays back very well, hits the ball consistently to left center field. If you make a mistake on the inner half, he can hit that ground ball in the hole between first and second.
That hit him. Bases loaded. And Cole will take his base, more than likely get a pitching change here with Casilla getting ready. With Freeze coming up. Then Adam Neville, Angels trainer, will go out and check out on Cole, as will Mike Scioscia.
And that's the exact thing. Remember, I always talk about that, Victor, that fastball inside on an 0-2 count. That is why you don't. Fastball hitting his elbow area. Because a hitter's in protect mode. You're just trying to put the ball in place. You're looking out over the plate.
We're going to have a double switch here. The manager's got to go to the home plate umpire before crossing the line to do a double switch. So we do have a pitching change and a position switch. Halos down by a run. Poacher doing the old double switch. Joaquin Arias takes over at third base for Casey McGee. Arias will bat in the number 9 spot in the order now. The pitcher spot in the 7th. Santiago Casilla takes over on the mound. 12th ball game for the right-hander. 2-0. 9 2/3 innings. 10 hits, 8 strikeouts, 4 walks. No place to put David Freeze. Ibar standing at third. Chivatella at second. And Cole Calhoun at first. A good speed on the bases for the Angels.
Casilla's fastball, 91-96, slider, curveball. Freeze, I'm looking first pitch fastball. Drive it in the air.
Freeze takes upstairs for ball one. First career plate appearance for David Freeze against Casilla. David 0 for 3. He swings and lifts one out to shallow center field. Here comes Pagan, and he will make the catch. Ibar's tagging. He's coming home. A double clutch for Pagan. Ibar scores, and we're tied at 2.
That's great base running. Taking that chance. Gary DiSarcina sending him home. It's a huge run. Very aggressive this entire inning. Eric Ibar challenged Pagan a couple of times. Sac fly by David Freeze.
Double clutch by Angel Pagan.
I think it stunned him.
Yep.
And then couldn't get the grip of the baseball. And then almost had to go throw like a softball with, 3-4 fingers, unable to get the good velocity you're used to seeing from Pagan in center field.
That run gets charged to Romo. He's responsible for Giavitello's second. Calhoun at first belongs to Offel. Here's Crone. That gets away, and Giavitello will advance to third. No throw from Suzak, and Calhoun had to wait for Johnny. Ends up staying at first base.
This has been an extremely odd inning on the top of this inning and the bottom of this inning.
Should be a pass ball on Suzak.
That's a backup slider. Took his eye off the baseball. Almost looked like he was thinking about back picking because Giavitello was drifting. Took his eye off the baseball, results in a pass ball. 2 pass balls in this inning for both, one from each side.
Freeze, by the way, picks up his 17th RBI. 1-0 count on Crone. 1 for 3. Bouncer foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. DJ's base hit was on the hit and run in the 7th. Shot a single through the right side. Here's the 1-1. Outside. 2 balls, 1 strike, and against Suzak, a little
he didn't look comfortable.
There.
No.
Kind of reading the ball at the hand or something.
Yeah. See, overthrown his breaker ball, got around the 1 and then popping out of the glove of Suzak. And that slider, well off the plate, way off the plate.
Good hitters count. They ran that fastball in on the hands, in off the plate. So tantalizing, especially in the 2-1 count. Get the fastball, it just keeps bearing down on your hands.
Especially you're facing the pitcher likes to throw a lot of off speed, whether slider, curveball, so you get that fastball.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A 2-2 tie here in the 8th. Calhoun takes off. The breaking ball's fouled back.
He's had a tough time with the feel for his breaking ball here tonight.
Garcia's been around a while, 34-year-old. We saw him with Oakland quite a bit. Joined the Giants in 2010. 54 games last year. Had a 1.70 ERA. Also picked up 19 saves. Cole takes off again. Fastball way outside. Nice play by Suzak. And a full count. Not a whole lot of room here between home plate and the backstop.
Yeah, you have to have a good read. This is way out of the strike zone. That's almost by him. But that might have been one of those fastballs that come back from the backstop quickly.
Yep.
First stolen base of the season for Calhoun.
Full count with 2 outs. 2nd and 3rd. The pitch. That is pulled down the line, foul. Came right back inside with that fastball. Quick hands by Crone that time.
See, he doesn't look real comfortable throwing a slider or a curveball, so you got to be sitting fastball. Don't help him out by chasing a breaking ball out of the strike zone.
Joe Smith now getting ready. Salas is warmed up. Matt Joyce on deck. The payoff again. Carlin pops it up. First base side. Buster Posey's there. And the Angels are done here in the 8th. They tied up, however. So we'll head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Knotted up at 2. Mike Scioscia facing 9-1-2 for the San Francisco Giants.
As we anticipate coming in this game, two offenses struggling a bit.
Yep.
2-2, both really basic gift runs in the 8th.
11th game for Salas, 0-1 and a 5.23 ERA. Joaquin Arias. So the breaking ball for a strike. Arias hitting .300. 1 home run, 1 RBI. 6 for 20 this year. Bench player that can play multiple infield spots. Can even help you out in a corner outfield situation or even center field. 0-1 pitch. This was originally the pitcher's spot, but coach made the double switch, so it's now the third baseman spot. Good off-speed pitch.
Always the key for Fernando, get ahead of the count to utilize his very good changeup.
Arias now 30 years of age, native of the Dominican. Foul back.
Solid game by C.J. Wilson tonight. 7 very good innings.
Four hits, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk for CJ. 1-2 pitch. Chopper left side, had to hurry. Freeze gets rid of it quickly, and they get Arias for the first down. Nice play.
Yeah, that's a play where you have to have that as a third baseman. More difficult play as a shortstop. Well played by Freeze. Have to come in on the baseball, a shorter throw. Your momentum going towards the base at first as compared to a shortstop has to get around and have that underarm throw.
Top of the order now, Norioki. 1 for 3 game with a double and a run scored. Slaps this one foul. Double for Aoki back in the first inning, his 5th of the year. Gave the Giants a 1-0 lead, and it stayed that way until the 7th. The Angels got 3 hits in the 7th against the starter, Chris Heston. Joyce tying it up. The base hit, picking up his 6th RBI. Giants answered back at the bottom of the 7th. Retake the lead, a 2-out RBI single by Suzak. And of course, the Angels in the top of this 8th inning. A sac fly by David Freese and gutsy base running by Eric Ibar, and a shallow fly ball to center, scoring to tie this one up.
Gutsy go first to third also. Yep. Very aggressive. You have to do that when you're struggling offensively.
0-2, down and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It always ends up being easy to second guess a base runner for being overly aggressive, but I think in this situation, that's the chance you have to take, and Eric Ibar has great baseball instincts.
What made it interesting is the fact that he didn't quite make that decision. It's down low for ball 2 until he got near the bag at second. You know, a lot of times you see base runners, they're busting it. You can kind of tell because of the angle they take of the bag and the speed in which they hit that bag. Eric didn't seem to be at full stride, then just made that decision rather quickly.
I honestly think if we ask him that tomorrow, I think that was part of his plan because he knew that Pagan has a good throwing arm. It was hit hard enough. There was no way for him to advance on a normal play.
Down the left field line, slicing away from Joyce and runs out of room.
But by hesitating like that, Pagan sat back enough that allowed him to get in position to try to take that extra base. Same thing, Pagan didn't look like he was thinking at all that Eric Ibar was going to try to tag up on that short fly to center, and then end up bobbing the ball and end up throwing that baseball with not the normal 4-seam grip you would throw as an outfielder.
Towards center field. Trout moving to his left is there. 2 outs. Let's go back and see that sac fly by Freese.
See how shallow that is. And Pagan was kind of stunned initially and then could not get a grip of the baseball on Eric Ibar. Even the hesitation and the not the perfect grip to throw the ball was still a close play. That tells you how shallow that ball was to center field. But there's the chances you take. You got good speed, good instincts, and Eric Ibar has them.
Matt Duffy takes upstairs. That run was unearned, too, at the top of the 8th inning. It was Duffy that committed the error on the ball that Ibar hit to lead off that inning. Evens up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Duffy was 0 for 3. Halos have out-hit the Giants 6-4 and have stranded 7 base runners. Duffy fouls it off with a tardy on the fastball, 1-2. Did miss by much. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a good miss, though. What that allows you to do as a pitcher, you can throw something again on that outside part of the plate. And with a young hitter at the plate, he's in protect mode. More apt to swing at something out of the strike zone.
Little flare towards second. Giavatello knocks it down, picks it up, fires to first, and he throws it wildly. Duffy will stay at first base. Duffy throws it to Crow, and they get the out.
Didn't look like C.J. Cron could get his footwork right at the base either. Jumps up, tried to time the leap, knocks it down. And you can see right there, C.J. Cron didn't quite get the footwork at the base. You get there as a first baseman, then you try to get in that stretch position. If you start too quickly on the stretch position, you're not going to be able to go around and make a play like that.
Base hit for Duffy. That'll bring up Angel Pagan. Batting for the left side. He will look at a strike. Now 2 for 2 as he skies this one to left. Playable for Joyce. Comes in. And we'll squeeze it. And we will head to the ninth here at AT Park. Bottom third of the order due up for the Halos in a 2-2 game. Joyce, Iannetta, and the pitcher spot due up. Face Santiago Casilla. Matt Joyce 1 for 3, an RBI single in the 7th. 6th RBI for him. Matt had been 2 for 38 prior to that single in the 7th inning. At that point, tied the game up at 1. Casilla faced 2 batters in the 8th, and command was an issue. Sack fly to freeze, and it got Crone to pop out on a 3-2 pitch. Pulls off. No balls, 2 strikes.
Still trying to get that timing. He's trying to tell himself that. He had good timing as far as his landing on that front foot before he went through his process of swinging the bat, his last at bat. Throw him a curveball here.
Taps it foul. Stick around after the last out. Angels live post game presented by your SoCal Mazda dealers. Alex Curry and Jose Mota will break it down for you. Immediately following the last out. Ground ball to first. Got to pull that outside pitch. One down.
Frustration still trying to, you mentioned that, I think they're trying to pull that pitch. Instead of going with that pitch, that's a good pitch to drive to left center field for Matt Joyce.
Chris Iannetta 0 for 3. Efren Navarro's come out to the on-deck circle.
Chris Iannetta, though, hasn't had many good swings so far tonight, but a career .338 hitter against San Francisco pitching.
Fly ball to right field. Long run for Justin Maxwell. He's there. 2 down. There's Navarro. Called up before the game today. Grant Green set down. After 3 for 15. He will look at a strike. Joe Smith, Houston Street getting ready. Game stays tied. It'll be Smith. Oh, 1 downstairs. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, Posey, Maxwell, and Suzak for San Francisco. 2-1. Nice shot by Salas in the bottom of the 8th inning. Scoreless frame. Keep this one tied at 2. Ibar on deck. 2-1 pitch. Effort pulls it foul.
And what we've seen out of the bullpen for the Giants, fastball counts. They don't throw a fastball in the spot. Sliders. Trout got a couple wicked sliders from Romo. Affeldt, same thing. Casillas, same thing. Slider, curveball, and fastball counts. Well, pitching backwards.
He'll bounce it toward third base, and that is going to be trouble. Now go for an infield base hit. With 2 strikes and 2 outs, nothing Arias could do, playing back at third.
You know, wise decision just not to throw the baseball. Once you hit a ball like that, especially as a third baseman playing way off the line, no way you're going to have a play. Hold on to the baseball. Don't throw it away.
Ibar 0 for 4. Takes the strike. Eric reached on the error by Duffy to start the 8th inning and scored the run that tied things up. Arias playing in at third base. Some yank foul. Watch out off the screen in front of the Angels dugout.
Our buddy Pete.
Yeah. Staying alive down there. I see you, Pete.
He's got his Flyers hat on, too. He's got the Flyers.
He is a Philly guy. Casilla ready, the 0-2. Next is 1 ball, 2 strikes. 24 pitches thrown by Casilla, 17 strikes. Better command this inning than he did when he first came into the ball game in the 8th.
Our guy about good career numbers against Giant pitching, 333.
To the first effort back safely. Ibar 2 for 9 in his career against Casilla. Good chunk of that, of course, the right-hander would play for the A's.
Well, if you get a ball, a slow breaking ball hit right center field, you can run for a long time here tonight.
Popped up, shallow left. Noria comes in. We'll head to the bottom of the 9th. Giants with Posey, Maxwell, and Suzak coming up in a 2-2 game. Two ties. Joe Smith finishes up his warm-up pitches. Joe pitched in yesterday's ball game, but threw just a total of 7 pitches. A very economical 1-2-3 inning for him. He'll face Buster Posey, Justin Maxwell, and Andrew Suzak for the Giants here in this bottom of the 9th. And home-plate umpire Bill Miller's going to the mound with the trainer Adam Neville. So I wonder if
he sees something on his glove or body,
tape or something, or
string hanging from his glove. Yeah, it looked like the string from his glove.
At least it's not an injury. Whenever you see the trainer walking out there, no manager though, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
Salas 1 inning, 1 hit. The rest zeros. Buster Posey, the first baseman, 0 for 3. A strikeout, a couple of fly balls to right. Postman down and in. Chopper off the plate toward the middle. Giavotella Gets rid of it quickly and not in time. An infield base hit to lead off the bottom of the ninth.
You'll see a pinch runner now for Posey. And once that gets over the mound, especially when you're in the outfield grass as a second baseman, even with a strong arm, you're not going to get Posey.
Gregor Blanco takes over as the pinch runner at first base. Blanco one stolen base on the year. And Smith versus Maxwell. Maxwell 0 for 1 in his career. Not many of these guys have faced Joe Smith. Step off and a throw over. Bunt on the first base side. Smith will pick it up, throw to Giavatello. 1 out. The sacrifice advances Blanco in the scoring position, representing the winning run. Not an easy guy to bunt off.
I was just going to say that. From that arm angle he throws that.
A sinking fastball.
Just tracked the baseball, kept the bat level, put it down the first base line, forcing Joe Smith to field it.
Zuzak a 1 for 3 game. Base hit in the 7th inning that brought in at that time the go-ahead run, made it 2-1 Giants. First one's inside. Outfield straight around. Normal depth for the Angels, even with Blanco standing in scoring position.
Every once in a while you'll see Joe Smith to try that little spin move back to second.
Big lead for Blanco at second. There's the 1-0. Oh, it looked like it went around. Did not, says Adam Amari.
That was pretty close.
Yeah, it was.
He's hearing it from the dugout.
It's a fastball in on the hands. So instead of a 1-ball, 1-strike count, it's 2-0 now. Chopper foul. Brandon Belt has grabbed the bat. He's in the on-deck circle. That's the pitcher's spot in the order.
You know, Joe can get Zuzak here. More than likely, you might see him walk the lefty.
Now the lefty to follow, Crawford. Two balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th of a 2-2 tie. Outside, 3-1. Good pitch in on the hands.
Yeah, it looks like a strike as a hitter. You're in a fastball count that runs off the inside corner. All you can do is foul that one off.
Third straight game for Joe Smith. Mentioned the 7 pitches he threw yesterday, threw 13 2 nights ago. Buster Posey leading off this bottom of the ninth with an infield base hit. Gregor Blanco, the pinch runner, standing at second after being sacrificed there by Justin Maxwell. Here's the 3-2. And that hits the home plate umpire. Bill Miller gets away toward third. Freeze will pick it up. And everything is going to stop here as Chris Iannetta looked like he clearly missed the baseball. And it got Miller right on the knee. I mean, it was just a sinking fastball. I'm surprised that Iannetta whiffed on it. Now you just hope that Miller is all right, but it got him square.
Yeah, he went straight down.
So it's a walk, probably, I would imagine, a pass ball. Calling that a wild pitch. It allowed Blanco to go to third. Blanco representing the winning run now is 90 feet away.
Mike Scioscia's either going to bring a fifth in, have a 5-man infield, or a walk. He'll have to load the bases for a force out. Remember, we saw Bill Miller get hit straight on the mask. What was it, last year or the year before?
Yeah.
In Oakland against us. Boy, right on the kneecap.
I can only imagine Iannetta thought it was a breaking ball.
Yeah, it must. You would think it had to be a cross-up to miss it by that much.
I mean, that was, his glove was nowhere near that ball. Miller appears to be all right. Well, you know, there's a lot of movement on the pitches thrown by Joe Smith, especially on a sinking fastball. But just watching that replay of Iannetta, again, he must have been looking for something outside on a breaking ball.
He had to be.
Yeah, did you see how he started to move to his right?
He was anticipating that baseball starting on the inner part of the plate and working its way around. And they're going to have that 5-man infield.
Cole Calhoun on the right side, so 3 infielders on the right side. Joe Smith will get a couple of extra pitches here with the delay. So Brandon Belton will pinch hit here for the pitcher spot. So first and third and 1 out. Belt this year, .235 average, 12 for 51, couple of doubles, 5 runs batted in. He's 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter so far this year. Winning run, Blanco at third base. And the first one's up and in. Here's the 1-0. Just inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Wondered if you're better off maybe putting Belt on. Play a straight up defense.
Still an open base. Don't give in.
Right over the heart of the plate.
That's what you don't want to do. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's an open base at second or at first.
Right.
If he wants to be overly aggressive as a hitter, let him get himself out. But you don't want to challenge somebody in that spot down the middle. That's what Joe did and got away with that one, especially in a 2-0 count.
Joyce at left and Trout in shallow right center field. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Evans up the count at 2-2. The ball hit to the right side of the infield. You don't necessarily have to turn two. You're just trying to keep the guy at third base at bay. Take the out. 2-2 pitch. Called strike three. Down goes Belt. 2 outs.
Nice job by Bill Miller staying with that pitch. Obviously more difficult to be able to bend over after get hit in the kneecap, but track that pitch down in the strike zone and calls it on the outside corner. Perfect pitch by Joe Smith.
So Calhoun back to right field. And it is Brandon Crawford now coming up. They're going to intentionally walk Crawford now with 2 outs to face Arias. And it looks like we're going to get another pinch hitter here. Travis Ishikawa.
That's the thing when you play a National League club and interleague play, there is a lot of action for bench players.
Joe Panic, pardon me, not Ishikawa. So bases loaded now. 2 outs. And it'll be Joe Panic. 280 average this year, 21 games, 5 doubles, a triple, 6 RBIs. He's 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. Panic 73 games last year for the Giants at .305. No place to put him. Smith ready. Here's the first one. Panic flips one down the line, tailing foul and out of play. It's an 0-1 count.
Well, it is a regular season game, but this has a feel of a postseason game. All the moves being made and put in place by both managers. Both teams struggling offensively. Both managers trying to do whatever it takes to put themselves in position to win a game.
One of 8 guys to play second base for the Giants last season took a hold of the job. Oh, 1. Backdoor breaking ball misses. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And what a play he made in the World Series.
Yep.
Game 7. The flip over to Crawford.
1-1 pitch. This is line to center. The Giants will walk off on the Angels by the final of 3-2.
Boy, up the middle, pitch elevated enough for Panic just to drive that ball, used a big part of the field. As the Giants able to pull this one off here in the bottom of the 9th. A lot of weird things happen in this game, especially late in the game, but the Giants, who have been struggling to score runs, come through with a clutch hit with Joe Panic with a base hit against Joe Smith.
Now the pitch hit, base hit, wins it. The Angels did a nice job of trying to battle back. But an interesting ball game to say the least. Giants win it. They walk off on the Halos 3-2. The final. Stick around. Angels Live post game is coming up next.